So I just left the Colorado Trail, which goes off to Georgia Pass and heads to the south. And this is Mount Goyo, huge and beautiful. But it was so easy to follow the Colorado Trail, like it was impossible to not be able to follow it. But then this is fitting because it's like the sign's knocked down so you can't see it, and it's basically like a deer path looking thing. So back on the true CDT. It's about 5 a.m. on my 65th day. Happy 4th of July. I set an alarm to get up very early because I want to try to get over Grays as early as possible. Because like every day in July in Colorado, there's a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon. So I figure try to get there early. Sun's not quite up yet, but I am just about all packed up. I just have to brush my teeth. But last night was the first night in the new tailor-made Serpentis 20-degree false bottom sleeping bag and the hood, and I'm happy. It got pretty chilly. It's just a hair above freezing right now, and I was comfortable, and it worked really well. So I'm psyched. It's so different because it's so light that when I pick up my legs to move around, it feels like there's nothing there. So yeah, if it's doing good for me on a windy 36-degree night up at almost 12,000 feet, then actually I'm above 12,000 feet, then I think it's going to work great for the rest of the trip. This was a really ambitious day for me because I really wanted to try to get to the summit of Grays Peak because it's the highest point on the official Continental Divide Trail, and that was one of my major goals going into this trip. However, there were a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon, and I definitely didn't want to be stranded up top when that storm was there, so I got up extra early. I ended up seeing 21 mountain goats this day, and I didn't see any more for months, but I made pretty good time getting over to Grays. That right there is Geneva Peak, and the trail actually goes on that spine. It's not nearly as dangerous as it looks from here, but there's definitely some points on it that the trail's only 1.5 feet wide, and then you can see the descent. Drop way down to that saddle, and then boom, right back up here to Sullivan Peak. Epic views. Definitely a workout. Not going quite as quickly as I would have hoped, but there's just nothing I can do about that. It's a lot of up and down. Right now I am on the side of Santa Fe Mountain, and right down in that sort of mesa, flattish, plateauy thingy, you have to decide if you want to do the Argentine Spine, which is has a bit of a reputation for being steep and epic. And some people get really nervous and scared on it and call it sketchy. Other people say it's fine. Or you can go the new red line. I guess the Argentine Spine used to be the trail, but they changed it because I think too many people were nervous about it, or maybe it's just really exposed and didn't want people trying to go out on it if there was a chance of bad weather. However, it's early in the morning. To the best of my knowledge, the Argentine Spine looks like it goes sort of out along this closer ridge and then works its way over there, and I believe that thing in the center of the screen there is Mount Edwards, and then there's supposed to be an epic ridge which looks exactly like what that is in the background to the closest highest point, and I'm pretty sure that's Grays peak, the highest point in the CDT. And then there's something that looks just about as tall, if not taller, behind it, and that's Torrey's, which isn't part of the CDT. So all of this stuff I'm hoping to get done before the afternoon is in front of me. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I think I'm going to go for the Argentine Spine because I enjoy those kinds of scrambly, steep, epic, fun things, and the weather is pretty good. So I think I'm going to do that. So here it is, the Argentine Spine. Hopefully you just saw the goats drop behind that. But it goes just along the ridge exactly on the divide up to there. Fun fact, which I'm pleasantly surprised about, the only thing I could see the whole time was this, which was Mount Wilcox, and I thought that was Argentine Peak. So I thought I was gonna have to like go way up that. Not that this is that much less, but it's definitely more in line with the ridge. And that pointy guy there, the highest point, that's Gray's. It's been a long morning, so I started on that ridge that's all the way in the background and came across like so, and then worked my way over here, and that's the part of the Argentine Spine, and that is the Argentine Peak, and then it comes back down. That horizontal trail you can see is the official CDT that comes out of the valley, so they rejoin there. And then you come up over this, and then right now I'm on the summit of Mount Edwards. And then I get this stunningly gorgeous looking ridge walk that goes up to Gray's, which is the highest point of the CDT. And then the trail descends on that north side down into that valley. These two are too tame for their own good, so I'm going to try to skirt past them. They don't seem to mind me at all. They're 30 feet away. Those goats were right in the middle of the trail and they wouldn't move, so I went around them. So on the way up to the summit of Gray's, I passed somebody else, and they asked if I was going up there because it was starting to get cloudy, and I said, yeah, as long as it's not booming. And then shortly after that, it started booming. And I made a calculated risk, and I decided to go for it because I was already about 3/4 of the way up. So it wasn't the smartest thing I've ever done, but I went for it.
The last time when I went up, I didn't eat anything until I got down to the bottom, and I regretted it massively.
Yeah.
When it's balancing it.
This is looking back at the spine that connects from Mount Edwards to Gray's, and it goes right on that horn. It was really, really epic, and some people did not like it because they felt like it was way too scary. After Gray's, you go down into a valley, and it's a lot more green. Okay, so there's been a bit of a curveball. Today is July 6th, which is my 67th day on the trail. I'm at Berthoud Pass right now, which is the pass that is close to Winter Park. And there is a fire closure ahead. So there was some unknown fire that started, well, the cause was unknown, that started on July 4th. Possibly lightning, there were thunderstorms that day. Who knows, maybe fireworks or a campfire or something. But anyway, the trail is closed for about 12 miles from Rollins Pass, and it reopens at Junco Lake. However, there's no good way to get around that. So what I'm doing is I am walking up to Rollins Pass, it's about 20 miles, and then I have to walk back to Winter Park on forest roads. I'll spend the night there, and then I have to road walk through town to get up to Junco Lake, which will be about 17 miles of paved and forest road walking tomorrow to get to where I could just get today. So it's a bummer, but if I've already gone 1,300 miles without fire closures and I only have to skirt around a 12-mile one, it could be worse. is the summit of Mount Flora. I'm at the high point of the day at 13,400 feet on James Mountain, or Mount James. Beautiful view. You can see the towns of Winter Park and Fraser down there. And then the Continental Divide continues off to the north that way. The good news is I can't really see any / much smoke from the Devil's Thumb fire, so hopefully those folks are having a good outcome with trying to keep it contained. July 7th, day 68 on the trail. So I'm doing the bike path / road walk to get back to the Junco Lake, which is where I can get back onto the Continental Divide Trail. So there'll be a lot of road walking today. I think it's going to be a total of about 17 miles. Just made it to Junco Lake, which is the other side of the CDT that is closed down. So I did, it's about 28 miles of road walking to bypass the closed area, but here I am. So the CDT heads northward from here into what I've been told very, very popular area near Monarch Lake. So I was hoping to kind of do a shorter day today, but I was talking to a ranger here that said that it would be awful to try to camp there just because they get so many people and it's a weekend. So I'm going to try to push for another 10 today, I think. It's mostly downhill, and it's not even quite 3 o'clock yet, so I've got plenty of time. But it's nice to be back on the trail. This is Monarch Lake a little before 8 a.m. and the fish are just jumping and jumping and jumping. So you can see why this area, Colorado and Wyoming, are so popular for fishing, because the fish seem like they are healthy and everywhere. Look at that, 3 at once. My goodness, the fish are everywhere. Hopefully you can see. I mean, there's got to be a school of, I'd guess 50 plus right by the shore here. So this is the Shadow Cliff. It's an enormous building. Look at the view that it has. Well, let's do that after. So it has this property. It looks like there's private cabins and stuff down there. This gorgeous ravine with this raging river. This view. So this is Shadow Cliff Hostel. It's an enormous building. This big area. That building. That building. Check out this view. That's the town of Grand Lake down there. The far body of water is Shadow Mountain Lake. This was by far the fanciest hostel I've ever stayed in. You're basically staying in a multi-million-dollar mansion that has been set up for travelers right outside the busy area of Grand Lakes. It was awesome. So I've walked the highway today on my 70th day, July 9th, my sister's birthday. The CDT has got a ton of red tape intentionally designed to keep hikers off of it in Rocky Mountain National Park. It's much simpler to simply walk on the paved road, so that's what I did. But I'm finally back onto the CDT, so I've got a long way to go to try to get closer to my pickup in a couple days. Well, this is one of the last uncommon but not rare things I've seen. A big old fox that's not afraid of me at all. Oh yeah, just sit there. I did hang all my food. I don't have anything smelly in here. Good morning. July 10th. A little winded from going up a hill, but then I had the thought to turn around. Since it's quite early, it's about 5:40 in the morning. I got up at 4:30. My goal today is to do a really big day, as big as I can kind of handle, because my wife is going to be waiting for me for the beginning of a 5-day break at an Airbnb in Steamboat Springs. So, yeah, gorgeous sort of sunrise. I don't think the sun's up quite yet, at least I don't see it, but very pretty. There's a warm breeze, which is pleasant because the snow, when you look at it, you don't expect a warm breeze usually. Moon's up too, it helped me pack up. Today shouldn't be too big of a challenge. The first 20 miles are what I would consider sort of normal, mountains, ups and downs and stuff like that, but after that I do hit dirt roads for the last however far I can get. No more than 17 more after that, and I should probably make pretty good time in that since my pack is not holding any food and I'm in pretty good shape. This day began the planned visit that I had for my wife Vanessa to fly out and meet me, and we'd spend some time together in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. It's roughly the halfway point. So we had a Airbnb condo right on the ski slopes. We did some hiking right out the back door up to the top of the mountain of Steamboat Springs. Got a haircut. We went out for a nice dinner. It was a great stay, and it was hard to see her go, but I had to get back out on the trail. All right, fast forward. So now I'm on day 76. I just got dropped back off at the same cattle guard that my wife Vanessa picked me up at, and she just pulled away. So sad to see her go. I won't see her again until the planned finish. So it's the last scheduled visit of her coming out to see me. But we had a great time. Stayed in an Airbnb in Steamboat. Only went out to dinner once, so tried to save as much money as we could. Just relaxing. Got a bunch of stuff repaired. She brought me some new things to swap out, all that good stuff. So it was a great break. I'm feeling good. I got a haircut. I'm sure you noticed. My hair is short. That should help out with the hot basin sun and all that. So anyway, I've got a long road walk today. Probably at least 14 miles of road walking to get back to the rabbit ears part of the trail. And after that, I've got about 60 more miles of Colorado. So we're getting there. 2 days and change to Wyoming. Steamboat Springs is a huge town, so I took advantage of their big grocery stores and sent 3 resupply boxes into Wyoming for me to walk to, because those areas of Wyoming are pretty remote and you definitely don't get that huge of a selection for resupply. done with the road walking for now. So I had to road walk down 53, which is a dirt road where I got picked up, to 14 for a while, like 12-ish miles. Then 2 miles on the busy 40, and then a dirt road. And here we are after quite a few miles, including the day that I got picked up doing about 15 miles on the dirt road. I'm back on some trail. I guess technically it's an old road, there's 2 tracks, but feels like trail to me. This is a big milestone. So today has been mostly very easy, sort of like ATV roads, like dirt roads. But here we go. So as I take this step, I'm officially in Wyoming. And that's looking back at Colorado, as you can see by that license plate. So I'm over the halfway point in mileage. And Colorado has a reputation by far by having the largest and most challenging mountains, and also doing it on a high snow year. So this is a big step forward. Going into this trip, one of my biggest hopes was that I would be able to do this in a single continuous path northbound and not have to kind of jump ahead because of the snow. So actually completing Colorado was a really big milestone for me, and I was super happy that I was able to go through and experience everything that I did.